Hi, everyone. The feature race in Southern California on Saturday is the $125,000 Los Alamitos Derby. This was a once prestigious summertime race for three-year-olds. It was run for many years as the Swap Stakes at Hollywood Park. Hollywood Park closed and the race was transferred to Los Alamitos, where it became the Los Alamitos Derby in 2014. And three of the first four winners of the Los Alamitos Derby went on to have some very successful careers, including Shared Belief. He won the inaugural Los Alamitos Derby in 2014. He subsequently won the Pacific Classic, the Awesome Again, the Malibu Stakes, and the Santa Anita Handicap. In 2016, the Los Alamitos Derby was won by Accelerate. He would come back 2 years later as an older horse and win the Santa Anita Handicap, the Hollywood Gold Cup at Santa Anita, the Pacific Classic, and the Breeders' Cup Classic and the Awesome Again. In 2018, Accelerate probably would have been Horse of the Year in any other year, except that Justify won the Triple Crown in 2018 and received more Horse of the Year votes than Accelerate. Finally, in 2017, West Coast won the Los Alamitos Derby. He would subsequently win the Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, pair of Grade 1 races. But since then, quality and field size for the Los Alamitos Derby has declined noticeably. The last 4 years, the number of starters in the Los Alamitos Derby, 5, 4, 4, and 5, and the Graded Stakes Committee said enough is enough. So the Los Alamitos Derby, which went from Grade 2 to Grade 3 in 2017, is now a non-graded stakes race for the first time. It's a $125,000 non-graded stake, and for a change, trainer Bob Baffert does not have the horse to beat. Baffert won the Los Alamitos Derby 6 of the first 8 years, but this year, the favorite is trained by Doug O'Neill, and Slow Down Andy is probably going to be tough to beat. Let's take a look at the lineup. A field of 5, another small field. It's race number 9 on Saturday on a 9-race card. Slow Down Andy is listed as the 8-5 favorite. I can actually see him going a little bit lower. And Bob Baffert trains the two co-second favorites, Doppelganger and High Connection. Doppelganger began his career for Baffert. Then he went to trainer Tim Yakteen. His career kind of tanked, but he adds blinkers on Saturday. Doppelganger does, and he's got an upset chance. And High Connection, who finished second last time out for trainer Sean McCarthy. High Connection also began his career for Baffert. We'll talk a little bit about both those in just a minute. Okay, let's first talk about the horse to beat, the favorite. His name is Slow Down Andy. He's a California-bred son of Nyquist out of a Square Eddie mare. Nyquist, Square Eddie, you know who you're thinking about, J. Paul Reddam and trainer Doug O'Neill. And, of course, Reddam owns and bred Slow Down Andy. He's trained by Doug O'Neill. Slow Down Andy began his career last fall. He won decisively first time out, finished second in a stakes race. But his breakout performance, Slow Down Andy, as a 2-year-old, came in the Grade 2 Los Alamitos Futurity last December, over the very track on which he will be racing on Saturday for the first time. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the Los Alamitos Futurity. Messier was supposed to win this race. He was the heavy favorite, but Slow Down Andy stretching out on the outside. He comes up to Messier. Messier tries to battle back, but Slow Down Andy was too much racehorse. He won by a length. It was a more decisive victory than the 1-length margin suggests, in my opinion. And as they come to the wire, you'll see what I mean. So it looked like Slow Down Andy had a little something left in the tank in the Los Al Futurity. This was last December, and it established Slow Down Andy as one of the top 2-year-olds in California going into the 3-year-old season and possibly on the Derby Trail. Slow Down Andy returned at Fairgrounds in February, and he split the field. He did not have a great trip in the Risen Star Stakes, but he had one last chance to pick up enough points to make it into the Kentucky Derby. So O'Neill sent him down to Sunland Park to try to win the Sunland Derby, a race in which he would earn 50 points if he was victorious. Let's take a look and see what happened in the Sunland Derby early this March. Slow Down Andy pressed a kamikaze pace, 45-1, 109-2. That's Bye Bye Bobby, the gray on the outside. He looks like he's going to run right past Slow Down Andy, but Slow Down Andy, despite those wickedly fast fractions, 45-1, 109-2. He dug in. He won by a half length. It was more than 8 lengths farther back to the third place finisher in the Sunland Derby, and that punched the ticket for Slow Down Andy into the Kentucky Derby. Only one problem. He shipped to Keeneland to prepare for the Derby at Churchill Downs, and Slow Down Andy got sick. He got very sick, and he was sick for about 3 weeks. It knocked him out of the Kentucky Derby. There would be no Preakness, no Belmont for Slow Down Andy, and at that stage of the game, O'Neill and Redham said, let's just bring him home, get him well, and then we'll see what's out there. Well, Slow Down Andy returned to California. He resumed workouts this spring, and over the last 2 or 3 weeks, he has responded very well with a series of outstanding workouts, including one last weekend in which he blew away a graded stakes placed stablemate by the name of Hockey Dad. Hockey Dad, by the way, runs Friday in race number 6. If he runs well, it's going to validate the workout of Slow Down Andy, not that he needs validation. Slow Down Andy enters the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday as the only graded stakes winner in the field. Already a graded stakes winner over the track. Training lights out. He will fire first start back, and if he returns as good as he was when he left, Slow Down Andy will be very tough to beat in the Los Alamitos Derby. His main rival, well, it's probably one trained by Bob Baffert. High Connection finished second last time out in the Affirmed. But let's talk a little bit about the career of High Connection. He did not make his debut until this March. It was in a sprint at Santa Anita, and like many Baffert trainees, Baffert first-time starters, he was ready to roll. High Connection, let's look at the maiden win, the debut win by High Connection. He set the pace, cruised along, 44-4 to the half, and at the head of the lane, Johnny Velasquez said, see you later. And High Connection ran off the screen. He won by 10 lengths. He earned a 90 Beyer speed figure. After this race, Baffert was hit with a suspension, the 3-month suspension that he served. And so High Connection's next 2 starts were for trainer Sean McCarthy. And he ran well in both those races, High Connection did. Racing 2 turns in an allowance race next time out, he was the 3-5 favorite, and it looked like a race in which he was probably going to dictate the pace, but he did not break very well. His stablemate Armagnac made the lead, and all High Connection did afterward is simply chase the speed every step of the way. It was an okay race, but it was a little disappointing because it appeared that he was the controlling speed going in. He didn't break well, and he finished second, raced in second all the way around. Off that race, he was actually favored next time out. High Connection was in the grade 3 Affirmed, and a similar situation occurred. Hopper, stretching out a former Bob Baffert trainee, Hopper made the lead, and High Connection merrily chased all the way to the wire. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the grade 3 Affirmed, and that's Hopper on the front end, High Connection outside, and that's Doppelganger to his inside. Doppelganger, by the way, is entered in the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday. We're going to talk about him in just a minute. So High Connection, he's kind of one-paced. In other words, he doesn't have a real quick turn of foot, which doesn't really matter for a dirt horse because dirt horses win races using their speed. Now, the thing about High Connection is, will he use his speed and will he make the lead, or will Doppelganger, his stablemate, who was actually positioned in front of him in the Affirmed, and Doppelganger adds blinkers on Saturday, or will Doppelganger make the lead? Those are the only 2 likely front runners in the field, Doppelganger and High Connection. Doppelganger and High Connection worked in company on July 3rd at Santa Anita. They both went 13-1, but if you watch the workout on xbtv.com, I'm sure you might agree that Doppelganger was actually going better of the 2 and galloped out better than High Connection after the wire. Doppelganger was wearing blinkers in that workout. He adds blinkers, actually re-adds blinkers for the Los Al Derby on Saturday. And I didn't pick Doppelganger 1, 2, 3, and I think it might have been a huge mistake because Doppelganger, based on the team workout with High Connection, based on blinkers on, based on a murky pace scenario, you definitely have to respect Doppelganger. High Connection and Doppelganger are very difficult to separate. I picked High Connection second. I picked a long shot third. His name is Got Thunder. He's been an underachiever so far in his career, but he misfired last time out at Lone Star with an uneasy trip, an uncomfortable trip. Got Thunder. He was a $750,000 son of Arrogate. He still has upside, but he has yet to deliver on his early promise. Doug O'Neill also starts number one, Win the Day, who comes out of the same race as Got Thunder. That was the Texas Derby down at Lone Star. Win the Day finished fourth. Got Thunder finished eighth. Win the Day has trained well since returning from Texas, and I guess he could hit the board. It's a 5-horse field. High Connection or Doppelganger, one of those two is going to set the pace. The other one could set second. The best horse, however, he's Slow Down Andy, the only graded stakes winner in the field. It's a California-bred son of Nyquist. He's the most probable winner of the Los Alamitos Derby in a race that really does not offer a whole lot of betting value, I don't think. I would love to lock in 8-5 on Slow Down Andy. I suspect he's going to drop into the 6-5 range, and if so, it's probably just a pass race. I like Slow Down Andy to win the Los Alamitos Derby if he can wear down High Connection and or Doppelganger. That's race 9, Saturday at Los Alamitos.